Chapter 5 is here, guys, and in today's video, I want to go over a bunch of different solo drop spots for you guys in this brand new season. Obviously, we have gotten a brand new map with this new season, and I'm really excited to show you guys this video today because there's going to be 8 drop spots in this video that I think are really valuable. Normally in my drop spot videos, especially for solos, I do around 5 drop spots. However, in today's video, this map is brand new and there's so many different places to land, so I really want to cover a lot of different options for you guys. Keep in mind that yes, these are not the only good drop spots on the map. There's going to be obviously plenty of other drop spots that are very feasible and viable for solos as well. And be sure to stay tuned for the duo drop spots video that's coming out soon. Let's hop right into it. So I want to start off by going over the Snow Factory. Now I actually don't know the exact name of this POI, I don't actually know the landmark name. However, what it essentially is in the top right corner of the map, there's going to be a small little factory that has the standard Chapter 5 Season 1 logo on it, and that's going to be the really good factory that I want you guys to actually consider landing at. Now this is going to be having 5 chests, it's not going to be very stacked, there's obviously going to be other stuff like slurp barrels and extra features. I'm not really going to go too in depth into that in today's video. However, what I do want to go over is where this POI is and how you guys can use it in order to win your solo games. So obviously guys, yes, the movement this season is really messed up and it's really not that great and a lot of players aren't enjoying it, myself included. And yes, the storm seems like it's moving incredibly fast. So yes, even while this drop spot is on the edge of the map, you do need to try to loot it really quickly and then get out as quick as possible. My recommendation would be to land, get every single chest, and then get all the mats that you guys need. Obviously, before you guys get all the mats, you guys should definitely try to max out on shield, ammo, whatever else you really need. And then once you guys are done with the mats, try to get into a G-Wagon or catch the train nearby, and then try to rotate to the center of the map. That's how I'd recommend you land here, which is going to be, once again, the Snow Factory. Alright, so the second drop spot is going to be the Modern House. This is going to be in the actual center of the map. Now, Modern House, in my opinion, is a really solid drop spot for a multitude of different reasons. It's going to be having 7 chests, which is actually pretty stacked considering how small this place is and how central it is as well. Now, yes, considering that this POI is quite central, rotating won't really be a big problem from it, which is why I'm going to recommend it to you guys. The Modern House is a really solid place to land. It's really close to Fencing Field, it's close to Hazy Hillside and Ruin Reels. It's also really close to the central Loot Lake, so you guys can obviously fish and do other things as well. But considering the fact that this Modern House is really close to other POIs, if you guys are looking to W key and land somewhere where you're probably not going to get eliminated off spawn, the Modern House is a great spot. You can get pretty solid loot. My recommendation would be to land here, immediately try to farm up at as many materials as you can, and then obviously continue on your rotation throughout the game. You guys are pretty close to the center, so that's not going to be a big problem. But Modern House is a really solid drop spot for anybody that wants to land low key and wants to also land central in their drop spot. Now the third drop spot is going to be known as Forest Station. Now this place is actually going to be in the southern part of the map, close to the southern shore. Now this is going to be having 9 chests and also a bunch of other things as well. Plenty of slurp barrels, coolers, whatever else you really need from a drop spot you're going to find there. But once again, I'm just trying to go over the basic specs of the drop spot and how to actually play it. Now yes, from the Forest Station, the train does actually pass through it, so you guys can catch a ride in order to rotate out of the edge of the map area. However, my recommendation would be to initially get all the chests, obviously get your shield, get your ammo, get your weapons. Farm up the buildings. The buildings have tons of wood, tons of brick around the area from different rocks, and then metal as well. I think that materials are actually a really easy thing to get this season, and I don't think they're really going to be causing too many problems. But yeah, this Forest Station is really solid. You guys can obviously farm all that stuff up and then rotate on your way, either using the train or finding a G-Wagon and using that as well. But that's going to be Forest Station. Let's move on to the next drop spot, which is going to be known as Rescue Station. Now, Rescue Station is going to be in the top right corner of the map as well. Not as far as the original Snow Factory, however, still quite far. It's going to be having 12 chests, and it's going to be located kind of in between Reckless Railways and Glacier Hotel, except slightly north. I love Rescue Station. I think it's a really solid place to get a lot of metal and also have really good rotation because it does have a Lamborghini that spawns in as well. But once again, guys, Rescue Station is going to be in the northern snow biome area, so yes, it is a little bit far. However, rotation won't be too difficult, especially considering the fact that you have a vehicle. Once again, my recommendation is to land, loot up, get some shield, get guns, and then farm a bunch of metal and then tons of wood and brick on your guys' way rotating. You're pretty much going to leave this drop spot not too contested, not too much people around you. If you do land here and you do start fighting off spawn, which is this is where I'd around say that you guys are going to be fighting people off spawn, I'd recommend you guys try to land the tower, get the chest up there, and then try to get any floor loot you guys can on the way down so you have the high ground advantage when you guys are fighting. Or you could do vice versa, and you could land inside and then break down the tower and see what the situation is. But if you guys are going to be landing at the Rescue Station, that's what I'd recommend. I think it's a really solid drop spot for a lot of players. Let's go into the next drop spot. Now the next one is going to be known as the Seaside Villa. This is going to be in the southern part of the map. Seaside Villa is going to be located quite close to Snooty Steps, which is actually where Peter Griffin is, if you guys don't know. The Seaside Villa is going to be having 14 chests, which is an absolutely insane number for one place. Especially in a place this small, 14 chests is absolutely this crazy. Now, Seaside Villa is obviously going to have tons of brick from the building, tons of wood around it, and then also metal. Yes, metal will be a little bit tougher to get in that part of the map, however, you guys could rotate over, obviously, to a train station or fencing fields and easily find a bunch of metal. Like I said before, I don't think materials are going to be a big problem this season. Once you guys are done at this Seaside Villa, you guys should ideally try to rotate over to fencing fields and then, of course, ruin reels in order to get really good backup loot, any scraps that somebody may have left, or just look for a fight if you guys want that as well. You also have really good access to dead side rotation on this. You can easily go around Snooty Steps, you can go around the bottom side of the map, go around into the snow biome onto the tall mountains. There's plenty of different alternate loot routes you guys can go to as well, and especially on your way in, you guys can actually catch the train if you really want to. That's a really good way to rotate as well. That on top of a G-Wagon or a different car that you guys could possibly use. In general, I think Seaside Villa is a really solid spot for players who want to land somewhere low-key with a ton of loot, but also have really good access to other POIs in which they can get mythic medallions. Now let's go on to the Yacht. Now this is going to be on the left western side of the map. The Yacht is going to be having 23 chests. It's going to be absolutely stacked. There's actually going to be a vault that you guys can open up in this POI. I think that the Yacht is one of the greatest POIs on this map right now, especially for solos, considering how many chests it has, how familiar it is to a lot of players who used to play back in Chapter 2. This is actually the exact same type of Yacht from Chapter 2 Season 2. I just genuinely think this is one of the greatest POIs that we have on the map right now for solos. It's unnamed, so not too many players are going to be landing there. Yes, there's probably going to be some, however, you guys can learn to fight them off spawn. The Yacht also has tons of metal. Obviously, it's a boat. You guys can find tons of metal in the lower bottom areas of it. You guys can find tons of wood on the shore nearby, and you guys can find tons of brick from the shore nearby as well. That's why I think that the Yacht's a really solid spot. I don't think anybody's really going to be upset with how the Yacht plays, especially in solos. Once again, like I said, you're going to have a vault. You're going to have the ability to actually kill a bunch of NPCs and get their weapons as well with detachments possibly. Ideally, I think that this is probably the best place to go if you guys are trying to land somewhere in solos that's not a named POI. This is personally where I'm going to be landing in my solo ranked games if I want to land somewhere uncontested. I just genuinely think the Yacht is a great spot to land. Now let's move on to the one of two named POIs on this list. Now the first named POI is going to be Hazy Hillside. I think Hazy Hillside is a great POI. It really reminds me of Misty Meadows, except of course slightly smaller, slightly less packed. Hazy Hillside is going to be in the southern portion of the map. However, it's really close to the central part of the map as well. I think that it's a really solid spot, especially for those of you guys that want to try to rotate into the center of the map quickly, but have a really good amount of loot and possibly a couple of kills off spawn as well. Of course, Hazy Hillside is going to be a named POI. It's probably going to be a little bit more contested than the other places. However, I still think it's a really viable spot for people to go if they want to land somewhere that is named and slightly more contested, but they also want to have the highest chance of coming out on top with really good loot. You guys have 26 chests to choose from. You're definitely going to have good loot out of here. Obviously, there's going to be coolers, vending machines, whatever else you guys really need, cars to rotate, anything. You guys can catch the train as well. Hazy Hillside is obviously a really solid spot if you guys are looking for a named POI. And of course, guys, the last POI on this list is going to be Grand Glacier Hotel. In my personal opinion, I think Grand Glacier Hotel is the best named POI on this map, simply because I think it's really easy to actually run around this place and loot it really quickly, as long as you guys enter through the right way. I think everybody should aim to land on the top of the building in Grand Glacier Hotel, not the bottom, because the bottom is really open and it's really easy to get beamed very easily without somebody noticing. I think Grand Glacier is solid simply because I think the layout is awesome. I think it's really good if you guys land there the right way. You guys can start in the top and go top down, and then you can obviously eliminate the NPC, eliminate any other enemy players that you guys have, and you guys can get out of there with a really solid medallion. In general, Grand Glacier is solid because it has so many chests coming in at 28, and I also truthfully think that Grand Glacier is in a great spot to rotate over. You guys can try to get to the train. You guys also have cars, of course, to rotate like the G-Wagon and the Lambo, but Grand Glacier is my personal favorite named POI this season, probably because I've just had really good experiences when I'm landed on the top of the building, but if you land on the bottom of the building, it's really going to mess you up, so once again, try to aim for the top. Anyways, guys, those are the 8 solo drop spots I think are the best for this season. If you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel down below. I'm really excited to see how you guys are enjoying Chapter 5. If you guys are curious about my personal opinion, I do like the map. I think that the weapon meta isn't the greatest. I'm not exactly sure why they didn't really keep a lot of stuff from last season. And honestly, I really don't like the movement. I think the movement is by far the worst that it's ever been in Fortnite competitive. It's the one thing that nobody really asked to change, and they for whatever reason changed it. Obviously, yes, they want to show off their Unreal Engine and other stuff, but I'm just not a fan of the movement. So if you guys agree, please let me know in the comment section. The Duo Drop Spots version of this video is going to be coming out soon, so be sure to stay tuned for that. But I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.